मुसलमान मुसीबत में घबराया नहीं करता। हमारे हौसले बुलंद हैं। आप आजाद हैं, आजाद रहें। आप लोग इस मुल्क पाकिस्तान में अपनी अपनी इबादतगाहों, मस्जिदों या मंदिरों में जाने के लिए। आपका मजहब क्या है, जात क्या है, कौम क्या है, इसका हुकूमत के मामलात से कोई ताल्लुक नहीं।
And in life and in property and the religious belief should be fully protected by the state at any cost.
Quaid-e-Azam was one of the best orator of modern era. My dear student, Assalamu alaikum. This is Shahzad Nabi from the HA Senior School for Boys. I welcome you all in this e-learning program. My dear students, I hope that you are doing well at your home, staying at home to defeat this pandemic we are facing as a whole nation. My dear student, this is the perfect time to study and read this chapter, the Quaid's Vision and Pakistan. There is a dire need to study this chapter as we as a nation are struggling under such challenging atmosphere, challenging circumstances. So my dear students, what we are going to do in this first lesson is we are going to read the whole chapter. We will discuss some of the main events, what are their possible explanation, what you need to do. Your task is to underline the particular words, particular ideas on your book. This is your book, you have to use it properly, write everywhere you want to write. So let's start with the objectives of the lesson. My dear students, today we are going to talk about the national pride. What is national pride and what are some of the characteristics involved in national pride? After that, we are going to comprehend the key ideas used in the lesson. There are many, my students, in this lesson. And the third one and the main one is to explain the events used in the text. My dear students, before reading the chapter, I want to tell you who was Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. In the 19th century, in the 20th century, democracy was prevailing. Now what do we mean by democracy? Democracy means majority is authority. If Quaid-e-Azam and Gandhi got a combined country, Hindustan, what would happen? There would be elections right after the emergence of the country. Hindus were in majority. They would elect their own religious figure, a Hindu. And what would happen next? The situation in Indian Kashmir, in India, self-proclaiming the situation that we could not imagine. We could not have been allowed to perform our religious duties. We could not even live freely. So my students, Quaid-e-Azam was the person who struggled so hard and I should say snatched a separate homeland for you, for me, for upcoming generations. So he was a big man. My dear students, we're going to we're going to read about him, his vision, and what are some of his advices to us, and are we following the advices of Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah or not. So here is a chapter in front of you, the Qaid's vision in Pakistan. There's a beautiful picture of Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. He is currently being considered one of the most powerful, was once when he was living, he was one of the best leader of the world. So to start with the chapter, I would ask you to read with me. So if we can start with the chapter. During the early and difficult times of Pakistan emergence, when Pakistan was coming into being, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah undertook a countrywide tour. Why? Because Muslims were living in different parts of whole subcontinent. Subcontinent was combined place. If we can include Bangladesh, Pakistan, India together, it would make the whole subcontinent. So Quaid-e-Azam took a countrywide tour to raise the spirit of the Muslims. So Pakistan was coming into being, so Quaid-e-Azam tried his level best to raise the spirit of the public, because before without the support of the public you cannot win a war. My dear students, getting Pakistan out of the hands of British and Hindus was a war for Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. He aimed at raising this people's spirit. Yes, he tried his level best to raise people's spirit. He said in Lahore, do not be overwhelmed with the enormity of the task. Overwhelmed means pressurized, affected by something, and enormity means big size, enormous. So Quaid-e-Azam said, do not be pressurized, do not be afraid of the big task. We are making a country, we were making a country at that time. So he was saying to the people, do not be afraid of the big task. He said in a speech at Lahore, exactly the same place we are living in. There are many examples in the history of young nations building themselves up by sharing determination and force of character. Quaid-e-Azam talked to the public and was saying, if people have two things, sheer determination, force of character, there is nothing that could not be achieved. So he was telling to the youth of the country that if you have a sheer determination, sheer means absolute, determination means firm belief, character means the strength of the person. So if the person has these two things, and even one nation has these two things, they could easily get a separate homeland. You are made of sterling material and second to none. Quaid-e-Azam was telling to the Muslim that you are made up of a sterling material. Sterling means one of the finest object, one of the finest material. How and why? Because Muslims are different from other nations. Now, what is the possible explanation of this? The explanation is Muslims are different. How? Because Muslims believe that life and death, victory and success, fame, everything are in the hands of Allah Almighty. So they get rid of the fear of being rich, of being poor, of being successful, of being unsuccessful. So this makes Muslim a different nation. So Quaid-e-Azam was saying that you are made up of a sterling material and second to none. Nobody could be like you. Keep up your morale. Do not be afraid of the death. Do not be afraid of death. We should face it bravely to save the honor of Pakistan and Islam. Yes, Quaid-e-Azam was saying that keep your morale high. As a Muslim, we have our faith that death is in the hand of Allah. He was asking Muslims to be not afraid of the death, as there was big struggles coming up. So Quaid-e-Azam was asking his people, his nation, to face the challenges bravely for the honor of the Pakistan and for Islam. Do your duty and have faith in Pakistan. It has come to stay. My dear students, yes, Pakistan is the only Muslim country which is made on the name of Islam, and Pakistan is going to be in this world till the day of judgment, inshallah. So in the first paragraph we have seen what Quaid-e-Azam was asking public, what was his emotion, what was he expecting from the nation. If you can move forward to the next paragraph, the second paragraph, the entire journey of the great leader struggle for a separate homeland for the Muslim subcontinent was based on the pivot of the Muslim unity and the oneness as a nation. So, in the whole, in the big sentence, the central idea is the pivot. I mean, what pivot is? Pivot is the central idea. So the entire journey of Pakistan, making Pakistan circle around two things: Muslim unity and oneness as a nation. So Muslims were one nation, and they are different from Hindus. Now why Quaid-e-Azam was asking for a separate homeland? There is a big history behind it. And what is this? And what was that actually? Muslims and Hindus were living together for centuries. Muslims ruled Hindu and the whole subcontinents for more than 1,000 years, and but they could not merge into themselves. And there is a reason behind it why they could not merge into themselves. There is a big reason. And the reason was that the religion of Islam and Hinduism is totally different to each other. How? Because we on Eid al-Adha slaughter cows, and it's a part of our religion. And for Hindus, cows are holy. They praise cows, they will worship cows. So how could Muslims slaughter cows in front of them? So that is why Quaid-e-Azam was saying that Muslims are one nation and they have a big unity. They have the big unity. So if you can move forward, he talked about Pakistan in such clear terms that even a common man could understand it. You must have heard the video just before the lesson. Quaid-e-Azam was saying, Musalman Musibat mein ghabraya nahi karta. So the language was very simple, even the layman, man of the street could understand. Just before the birth of Pakistan, he said, we are a nation. Yes, we were a nation. He affirmed 3 years before the birth of Pakistan. Now here he presented the definition of a religion, a nation that is built on a religion, that is Islamic, that is Islam, and that is why we are called Islamic Jamhuriya Pakistan, Islamic Democratic Pakistan. So what definition did he present of a nation? With our own distinctive culture and civilization, language and literature, art and architecture, names and nomenclature, sense of values and proportion, legal laws and moral codes, customs and calendar, history and traditions, aptitude and ambitions. In short, we have our own distinctive outlook of life. What Quaid-e-Azam was saying at that time, giving his idea of a nation. These all characteristics, starting from culture to the ambition, all these characters are necessary for a nation to be a nation. So culture and civilization, these are two simultaneously used terms. Now what is culture? Culture, if you can say, it's a abstract term, and civilization is a physical body. So it's a way of living, how some people together living in a society. Language and literature, yes, you already know what is language and literature. Literatures are readings, you can say, the books being written about a nation. Art and architecture, names and nomenclature, sense of values and proportion. This is important. Sense of values and proportion. We know what is important, what is not important, and according to our religion. Legal laws and moral codes, custom and calendar. Yes, we do have our own calendar, we do have our customs. Custom means rituals. What rituals are, how we live our life, how do we celebrate our big days, how we celebrate our marriages. These are all customs. History and tradition and customs are two simultaneously used terms. Aptitude and ambition. Aptitude means natural ability, ambitions mean targets. So as a whole in this paragraph, if we talk about particularly this area, Quaid presented the definition of a nation. A nation being built on a religion. So Islam is not only a religion, it provides a complete code how to live that life. So this is what we have learned in the second paragraph, the definition, the characteristics of a nation. If you can move forward to the paragraph number 3, this is a small paragraph but it has a big idea in it. The ideology of Pakistan was based on the fundamental principle that the Muslims are an independent nation. The thought behind Pakistan was based on the fundamental. Fundamental means basic, principle mean belief that the Muslims are an independent nation. Muslim cannot live with other nations. A Muslim cannot be merged into any other nation. For example, I have given you example of Muslims and Hindu living together. One is sacrificing cow, the other one is worshipping the cow. So they cannot live together. So yes, Muslims cannot live anywhere as a dependent nation. Today we are bound to live in different parts of Europe and Middle East. There are some mistakes. That is not the part of this study. We will discuss it some other time. Any attempt to get them merged, their political and national identity will be strongly resisted. Yes, Muslims are a different nation. They believe on Allah Almighty. So any attempt to merge the national and political identity will be strongly resisted. There will be a great fight if they would merge into Hindus. So this is the important paragraph. Actually, the whole paragraph is very important. Why? Because here is the writer presented the idea of the Pakistan. What was the idea behind Pakistan? We are moving forward to the paragraph number 4. That is the Quaid's vision in Pakistan, and the paragraph number 4 is Quaid was a man of strong faith and belief. Quaid was not an ordinary person like us. Remember, getting a country from the majority of Hindus was a big task. So that is why people, not only from Pakistan, from all over the world, they consider Quaid Muhammad Ali Jinnah as one of the best leaders of modern era. So he had two characteristics, the personality characteristics, faith and belief. He had a strong faith on Allah Almighty. His belief cannot be overturned. He firmly believed that the new emerging state of Pakistan based on Islamic principle, that is why we are named Islamic democratic country, would reform the society as a whole. Yes, if we live if we lived with India on at 1947, what would happen? There would be bloodshed between Muslims and Hindus right now happening in India. So, getting a separate homeland on the names of Islamic principle would reform the society. In his Eid message, September 1945, Qaid Azam said, Islam is a complete code regulating the whole Muslim society, every department of life, collectively and individually. We have talked about earlier, my dear students, that Islam is not a religion, it's a complete code of life. It provides you information how to live your life, how to be a social animal, how to be a student, how to be a father, how to be a mother, how to be a son. So in every department of life, Islam gives you knowledge, light. So it not only helps individually but collectively as well. So in this paragraph, Qaid Azam's characteristic were presented, and why Pakistan was being made. In the preceding paragraph, the last paragraph, we are going to discuss the current problems. Are there any solution for them? Yes, there are. So today the Qaid Pakistan is facing numerous challenges. Numerous means infinite, uncountable. Yes, Pakistan is facing numerous challenges on national level, on provincial levels, on language, on the level of language, on sectarian issues. Pakistan is facing serious challenges, and as well as financially as well. We have forgotten how much struggle Muslims had made under the dynamic leadership of Qaid Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. We have to commit, yes, we cannot come up to the expectation of Qaid Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah till now. Why? Because we should be a nation that should guide the whole world, but unfortunately we did not get success till now. So are there any solution for that? So look at the next words. We can overcome our present difficulties by following the Qaid's golden motto: faith, unity and discipline. According to Qaid Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, if a nation has three characteristics: faith, strong belief on Allah, unity means oneness, the nation is one, they are strong, and discipline, they are living their life according to the norms, according to the laws of the country. So if these three things are there within a nation cannot be defeated, a nation cannot be discouraged. We can make our nation strong by remembering his advice to the youth. Now, in every part of the history, youth remained one of the big asset for any nation. So he was telling to the youth, why? Because they are going to run the government after 1947. They were the ones who were going to get the powers. So that is why Qaid Azam was advising the youth, it is not up to you to work and work. This is the famous quote of Qaid Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, to work and work. Because Pakistan was an emerging state, there are so many things to do. There were so many things to do when Pakistan was coming into being, and after the emergence of Pakistan as well. So that is why Qaid Azam was asking the youth to work and work, and we are bound to succeed. I'm strongly hopeful, I'm optimistic in my approach. Yes, Muslims are down and out today, but if we can look back to the history, Muslims ruled this whole world for more than 1,000 years. So the most part of the world, starting from Asia to the Europe as well. So my dear students, today we are struggling, but inshallah, if we can follow the advice of Qaid Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. If we can get rid of our provincial issues, our language issues, we can, if we can overturn our behaviors, there is a good chance to get success in near future. So this is it from this chapter. I hope that you have understood all and each aspect of this lesson. I hope the explanation is enough to understand this chapter. If there are further questions, you could ask me on my email address, that is shahzadnabi09@gmail.com. In the next lesson, we are going to talk about the meanings, the important words and their meanings, and we will recap the whole ideas, the whole themes used in the lesson. So thank you so much. Have a good day. Stay at your home and start practicing your academic activities.